Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Factional Fight Plays Worm Online. My name's Brian. That's my brother Adam. And it is the summer of Worm. And while the devs are out on vacation, we are still here busy creating our giant labyrinths for the community. So, how have you been, Adam? I know it's been a few weeks.
Yeah, I've been holding up. Doing pretty good.
I know. Yeah, you seem busier than ever, even though you're not working.
Yeah, I know.
All that is, but we are, in fact, still working on the labyrinth. And what have we been up to, and what are we doing this week? Find out after this. Alright, so what are we doing? We have been doing a lot on the labyrinth the last few weeks. First things first, anybody in the chat there? Maybe you can say something, Adam, in the chat. And the reason is that I did just install some chat thing. Some new chat app. So your chat is going to appear like this on our screen now. Hopefully that's a little bit less evasive, but you'll find out later what that means, Adam. This is our labyrinth right now. And hello everyone that's watching right now in the chat and everyone watching on YouTube. What have we been doing? We've been fixing problems. You know what I love about building these labyrinths is whenever we finally have the chance to bring people in and test it, and I'd be able to follow them around. This is what I was doing the last few weeks. Just sort of getting people in here and getting into their minds so that I can see what needs to be changed in the labyrinth. And a bunch of people went through the labyrinth. I can't remember. You went through the labyrinth, right, Adam?
Yep.
Yeah.
Got myself pretty lost in there.
And a bunch of others as well. And each time I learned a little bit more. And because of that, and I think, yeah, you came on to the labyrinth last video, and we learned that this entire section right here, this wall, was too high because people were getting stuck in the walls. Mm-hmm. So what did we have to do? We had to get rid of all the walls. We had to cut all the hedges, and we did that in one show, and then dug down the walls to make it, I think, approximately 100 allowed us to not get stuck in the walls anymore.
I think it had to do with the new code that allows you to go on top of the walls. It also allows people to jump over walls. So that caused a big problem for us in terms of the labyrinth. To allow people to jump over the walls would clearly go against what we're trying to build here.
But it worked out. It worked out in the end, the way that it works. But we had to destroy all the hedges, and these are rose hedges. Where do you find rose hedges? Look how many we had to find. We had to find another about 600 rose hedges to replace these, which took a long time.
600 rose sprouts.
Sprouts, sorry.
Yeah.
And so we did. We cut them all down, dug it down, and I did the same for this side, for the other side. So it was quite a lot of work. We did that. I did do some changes inside the labyrinth as well. I destroyed some walls, I built some walls back up, I put some ladders. And I think we have a better labyrinth. You guys can sort of see in this image just what it looks like. Things have been growing, a lot of trees. All the trees have been getting bigger. All the hedges are basically full size inside. It's the most fun thing to watch people go through this labyrinth. And now that we've gotten to this point...
Has anybody beat it yet?
Yes.
Oh, really?
A few people beat it. And
with your help?
It looks like... No, approximately... I think it was approximately 2 hours. Maybe 3 hours. and that was two people going through at the same time, sort of helping each other out.
I see.
Which helps, which does, which I think
And I
is,
think that's
is good.
It's what we want, right? We want people to come and help each other out rather than make it like a race sort of thing. Like it should be a collaborative effort.
Yes, it definitely is, and it definitely would help. I got some constructive feedback from those guys, and
Oh yeah.
we will be adding some extra hints and that sort of thing, and making it more exciting. Although they really, really liked it. So, but one thing that we noticed is that there's no lights. If you wanted to go inside and go into any of our mines, they're completely pitch black. You'd have to bring your own lights. And we always plan to do lights. And so I'm not a guy that creates lamps. That's your job.
Yeah.
So what did I tell you? I told you we need basically 3 different kinds of lamps. I can't remember what they're called. We need some like bronze, we need some brass, we need some torch lamps, and some just different kinds. And we're going to scatter them throughout this labyrinth. How do we?
We're probably going to need all the other kinds as well when we get to the second part of the labyrinth. You know, we're going to spruce it up.
Yeah, and you were telling me, so I said like we need some torch lamps. You're like, done. Like we need some bronze lamps. I wouldn't mind some bronze lamps. And you're like, let me think about this for a second. Bronze lamps. So what was the hesitation?
The hesitation is that bronze lamps require metallurgy and require you to have copper and tin.
Have we ever talked about metallurgy on the show?
I don't.
How long have we been doing?
Never had
like 3
never
or
had
4 years.
Episode about metallurgy. I don't think. That was one of those topics that were on our list to do, but we never ever did it.
We've never done metallurgy, so why not? Let's give it a shot.
Sure.
What is metallurgy?
Metallurgy is combining 2 metals to create an alloy. In this game, we got bronze and brass, as well as steel, as the alloys that you can make through metallurgy. It's a smithing sub-skill, so you get smithing skill from it. I guess our big challenge for setting up this episode was finding all the types of metals. Luckily, this project, we planted this deed in a very, very mine-rich, ore-rich area. So I think we ended up with zinc, copper, and tin all on the deed. So we're lucky.
All right. Well, we just spent this show we've been doing. We released a lot of episodes. Why? We haven't talked about metallurgy before. So why is metallurgy important to you in this game? What makes it, something that you couldn't live without, or an interesting thing about Worm?
For me, I think it sort of gives a sense of depth to this game that, the first time I ever encountered metallurgy was when we were first exploring for our deed, our very, very first deed, and we bumped into a tin vein. We're like, whoa, a tin vein. So we went to the Wikipedia, or the Wormpedia, and we looked it up, and turns out you could take tin and combine it with copper to make bronze, and then bronze makes all this other stuff, and we were just amazed at how much depth there was to this game. So that, to me, it just sort of represents how much there is to do in this game. That's why I love it so much, I guess.
So what can you use it for?
Now, in the end, we found out later that it is quite limited in what items you can use metallurgy for. One of the big things that people use metallurgy for is plate armor, or to make steel so that you can make plate armor. Other tools made of steel have benefits as well. So steel is a big commodity. But in terms of bronze and brass, the big ones are the lamps, and there's a few other minor things like bells. Make bell towers out of bronze.
Bell towers, we did that. numerous
Yeah.
times. I think I'm gonna need you to make some more bell towers for me.
Yeah, sure. Sure. And then, remember when we built the bell tower for the first labyrinth, and all of a sudden, like at the time, they didn't do anything. They were just cosmetic. And we had mentioned, I wish these bell towers rang, and then they put it in. They
The next
added
update.
it to the game later. And we made a bell tower and a sign that said, ring the bell when you've gotten to this far in the labyrinth.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, and we made a video about it, and
Yeah.
it was. I don't know if I'm gonna do something like that again, but definitely something that they need to do more of in this game. I think things like bell towers.
Yeah. Things that you can interact with in the game,
Like
like bell towers.
that'd be fun. They're
there's
always
some-
fun when they.
There's some other minor things, like they added the dioptra recently for the bridge construction, and that required both bronze and brass, I think.
Wow.
So, I mean, I like that
So
they're
lots of
thinking of
things.
new ways of using bronze and brass in the game when they're adding new items. They could just more of that would be great.
So how does it work?
Okay,
What do we do?
so I don't know if you are gonna do it with me, but
I'll do
if you go into
a
the
couple of them.
go to the right
not-
forge.
Just disclaimer: I'm not the metallurger. How would you say it?
Yeah.
That is Adam, but I will give it a try just to show how exactly works. We already went out. You mined a whole bunch of copper, tin, and essentially all you do is take one and take the other one and you just combine it.
Right. So take a bunch of each, like
Sounds
10
easy enough.
of each.
Where am I here?
Now,
Wait, lots of lumps. Okay. 10
what you're gonna
copper.
have to do,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that you can combine.
10 zinc.
You know, I must say it's been a long time since I've done metallurgy, and they
Mhm.
also did a overhaul of it at some point or another. So
Well, we've
what
got
I think
Worm Zachariah. That's his
it's his trade, yeah.
trade. So you can always ask people in the chat.
Yeah.
We always got Zach's help there. Anyway, so you want me to combine both of them?
Well, okay, so there's a couple ways of doing it. One way is to get a clump of one of them, like copper, let's say. You get a clump of copper and you put a bunch of zinc in your inventory, not combined. You activate the copper or you put them both into your crafting window, and you have the option to create brass, and you hit create, and the copper will go through each zinc lump.
Okay, let's give this a shot
Consecutively.
here. So you're saying I open up this crafting window and
Clump
there's
together the
10
whole
zinc.
copper.
Here's the copper. There's the brass lumps. I've got 38% chance of what is my metallurgy skill?
Probably
Where would that
one.
be found?
Under smithing.
Oh, I do have one. You're right.
Yeah, I can't imagine that you've ever combined anything metallurgy wise.
And of course, I'm failing. I'm useless at this. But
Yeah.
it used. I failed and it used 0.01. Okay.
Okay. Now on a successful combine, it'll
Wonderful.
use 0.15 copper for each 1 kilogram of zinc.
So now that that's happened and I used one, I failed, and I've got 0.99 lumps of zinc. It won't allow me to create the next one. in
Right.
the
It won't allow you
crafting
to
list.
create
There's
the
no
next
there's
one.
no way to like rotate that.
No. It's like it's really annoying. It was recently changed to this, but the previous wasn't any better. It's always been something like that. If you
So
fail,
why am I not combining the zinc?
Now, if you combine the zinc, let's say into a clump of 10 kilograms, it will attempt to use all 10 kilograms in one shot. The result will give you 10 times as much brass as you had before.
Mm-hmm.
But the chances of getting
good.
a good quality out of it, it's not so bad. Like, it's good for like quick, you want a quick combine to get a lot of brass, and you can do that. But the downside to that is the skill. You will not be gaining skill. Like, it's one action, you'll get one opportunity to get a skill gain, and that skill tick will be, worm size skill tick.
I see. Not good for leveling. And I assume this is the only way to level metallurgy. There's no improving.
Right. There's no improving. It's a completely creation based skill, which makes it one of the hardest skills to level up. It puts it right alongside
one of those skills.
Puts it right alongside locksmithing, and that sort of those skills, beverage making, those skills where you just have to make a whole bunch of it.
Okay. And I'm failing a lot. I did make 2. I made a 29 quality brass lump. There you go. For one skill, I've got 1.45 skill. I'm doing pretty good for myself.
And you'll notice that the result is a 0.1 kilogram brass, which is really tiny.
It is 0.1. Wow.
It's really tiny.
How much do we need for a lamp?
0.8, I think. I'm going to guess there, 0.8 or something in that realm.
Wow.
That you'll need to make, or it might be 1. I can't remember.
Okay, but then the lamps are going to come out at low quality. Are they going to need more brass to improve?
Yeah, they need more brass. Now the lamps end up being 5 kilograms, which means that if you combine the zinc together, you're going to be using like a bunch of zinc or a bunch of brass per imp. So it's best to keep the brass lumps separate when you're imping. That way you'll only be using the 0.1 each imp.
All right, so I'm pretty much mastered metallurgy now.
Right.
I take one lump, I take the other one. You told me that little trick with the zinc for skill leveling.
Yeah.
I mean, what else is there?
Well, because it's such a slow skill, you'll always want to have the tricks of the trade to try to increase how fast you gain your skill in metallurgy. One of the basic things to do is to use COC. The problem here is
usually you put it on your tool.
Yeah,
but
usually
there's
you put
no
it on your
tool
tool
here. What is the tool here? Is it the copper or is it the zinc?
And that's a question I had coming into this episode. I never really grinded this skill all that much. I think I have let me just check here. I have 37 or 38 metallurgy. I've never used a COC tool on it. So I thought for sure it's got to be the copper. I'm going to put COC on the copper. And I asked CA help and I asked Freedom Chat. And one of them gave me back that it's got to be the zinc. And the other one said it's got to be the copper. And I'm like, all right. Well,
those are the 2 options. That's correct.
Those are the 2 options. So I thought maybe on the episode we'll try to figure it out ourselves through some experimentation, because that's what I'll do normally.
Hey, before we do that, anybody know in the chat which lump represents the tool that's being used, which means which one actually uses the COC? Is it the copper or the zinc? Or is it either, depending on which one you activate?
Right, but in the crafting window, you don't activate either.
That's right. Wow.
Right?
So
keep track of what kind of metallurgy gains that you're getting there.
Good idea.
Yeah.
0.09.
Take a look at just make a bunch. The problem with yours is that yours skill get 0.09. That's really low for starting at
0.1. 0.1 I got, and it's going down and down and down and down.
Yeah, it's going to go down and down and down. right? So we got to sort of keep track of.
Okay, so
how
should
it's
we
going
switch
down.
out? We are going to.
Now
You
to
already
prepare, I
these
made a
things.
few
Okay.
COC lumps. I got really lucky and got a 94 cast on a copper lump, and it would be really sad if copper was not the tool, because that would be really cool. That'd be really cool if I got a 94 and I could use that to grind my metallurgy.
If you always have the tool in your hand while creating. So you just look down at your hand. There's an idea. Let's see if that's true. Okay, here we go. Copper. No, wait. Don't you always have whatever's activated in your hand?
Although I don't have anything activated. I don't have anything activated, and in my hand is the zinc. So
let me double check that.
Might be. Can you take over? Yeah, what do you got there in your hand?
What is that? It looks like a tiny little thing of sand.
Yeah, but what color is it?
Sand.
Sand color? Is that the copper? Wait, mine is not that color.
Let's take a look.
The one that's in my hand. Oh, wait, but is that like? What do you have activated there?
Dioptra.
Okay.
Okay, that looks a bit different. Let's see what the copper looks like. It was copper.
Okay, so in my hand is the zinc, and in your hand is the copper. So that's weird. That it. Oh, I see. I see. It depends on where you place it in the crafting window. See, I have my zinc and copper in the opposite slots. So I don't think it really matters whether it's in your hand or not.
I have the zinc now. Yeah.
So to determine for sure, the only way is to try it with only COC copper.
Okay.
And then try it again with only COC zinc. So in the forge, you will see I put in a couple lumps of zinc and a couple lumps of copper that are COC. Yep. I'd suggest that we just use the 80s because I have an 81 copper and an 82 zinc. That way they're sort of similar.
All right.
Use just one of them at the time and combine a clump of copper together with it. Don't just, because I don't want to accidentally use it all up.
Okay. Does it matter what level? I guess not really.
No, I don't mind the level. We could just change that.
We're doing a clump of copper. Here we go. I'm activating the copper for the first one.
Yeah.
We're going to go until I get a skill tick. Right now, I'm getting about 0.09.
Okay.
0.0903.
Okay.
Let's see what I get. Nothing. I got nothing.
Okay, well,
I'll go until I get something.
Brass will have to come out at between 1 and 40 quality for you to get a skill tick.
So far, nothing. Wow.
Is it because it's failing?
Yes.
So the way I would usually do this, as I'm going through my group of zinc, if I ever fail one, I'll just combine that one with another one that I failed with. Like if it's 0.99 and another one's 0.99, I just combine those two,
right,
and try again on that one. Because if you combine something more than one, it'll, if it's 2 kilograms or more, it'll do 2 kilograms all at once.
I got less.
Okay, that's probably just because you're going down. It's probably just because you're
I'm leveling.
So
yeah.
But
it does mean that the copper did not do anything.
The copper did not.
But how about if I activate the lump of the zinc and then right-click the copper? That wouldn't do anything, would it?
You can try that, or the other way around.
It doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. Okay, it did not.
No.
So copper going back.
That sucks. That I got a 94 cast on copper. Any use for a 94 cast on a copper lump then?
Looks nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so combining some zinc. So for people that don't know, you have to activate the lump that has the enchant on it before you combine.
Yes.
I have wasted a clay clump, WOA, whatever it was, 90 cast WOA.
90 cast, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Poof, just gone.
Came right back to me. I need another WOA clay. What did you do with the last one?
Double check.
And
still has COC. Okay. I'm not there yet. I need to get some copper. Activating the zinc and right clicking the copper. Let's see what I get as far as skill wise. I have a really long cast time. What are we going to do to fill the time?
Wait in anticipation.
Time. Smithing increased. Okay, I failed. Next one. There you go. We got to pretend that it's really good and sell it on the forums. There you go, Adam.
You know, that actually makes it a lot harder. If it's a zinc, it makes it a lot harder
Metallurgy
to level
increased 0.14. There it is. It's the zinc.
That makes it a lot harder to level. I mean, like, that means that you would have to clump a big clump of zinc and line up a whole bunch of copper, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the copper only uses 0.15 each.
And the zinc
combined.
uses 1.
Zinc uses the whole 1. Right? So you'll go through a whole line of copper and only take 0.15 from each one, and then you have to go through the whole line again and again and again and again until each one of those ones is used up, and then you have to sort of combine the leftovers at the end. You know what I mean?
How big of a clump can you make of zinc?
Well, once you... Well, as big as you want, I guess.
There's got to be a limit, isn't there?
64?
For example, iron, the limit is 64, right?
Yeah, I think it's 64 as well, yeah.
So lump of zinc is still 64. So not too bad. It's not ideal.
The problem
like
is that
with
0.15 does not divide evenly into 1. You'll always be left over with a little clump that you'll have to combine later.
That's fine.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have enough
but-
brass to make some lamps? Just sort of.
I don't.
Okay.
Oh
well,
no, I do. I do.
think I might.
I'm just gonna combine my crappy lumps into
I'm gonna
one
combine my
giant
crappy lamps too.
1.1 clump of brass.
I have.
What am I doing here? So I'm gonna
0.8.
make a lamp and then see what happens there. Anyway, we figured out that zinc is what makes it so that you can benefit your skill gain with COC. Zinc is the tool, and copper is... I don't want to say it, but... I'll just say copper's the material. Yes, that was the word that was in my head. Yes. Anyway, you want me to try? Okay, I'm gonna put the zinc back. Some lumps of
I will have to
copper.
go get us some logs. Is that what we need? Logs? We need logs.
I don't know, I'll let you get to that. I'll make one. But in this one, we have some already hanging bronze lamps. Wow, we have 50 of them.
Yep.
It's good to know. Do we need to improve them? We should probably improve them to a specific quality, right? Because it's still...
We'll need to make...
The light still is only as bright as its quality. Is that true still?
Right. I think so.
Okay.
I think so. And I think that we will need to gather more tin.
More tin?
To improve those. Yeah, we used all the tin to
Wow.
make them. Improving uses a ton. ton of this stuff. If you get into this metallurgy stuff, you just you gotta make a ton of it.
I think I'll let I think I'll let you continue with the metallurgy. I'm perfectly fine over here with my hatchet.
Yeah. Let's see what one of these looks like. Don't we have an option of a hanging brass lamp and just a regular lamp? Isn't that?
That's right.
Let's see what this one looks like.
What looks cooler?
There's that one.
Whoa. Let's make some room here on my screen. So this one, that's the brass lamp.
I see.
You want to make
that's
a
the brass
one?
lamp. I'm making a hang one right now.
What does the bronze look like? Let's see. There's the bronze. Okay. See,
the bronze only comes in the hanging variety. The brass lamps has this like little one on the stump that kind of looks to me like it reminds me of a lamp you might see on a dock or something.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
There's the hanging version of it.
Let's put it here. And hello everyone that's joined in the chat. How is our labyrinth going? Our labyrinth is going great. We just fixed up a bunch of stuff in the labyrinth, and the first half is pretty much completely done except the lamps, and that's what we're doing now.
There's also decoration going on. You always skip decoration. You're like, construction's done. Done.
Now you peasants get to making the furniture for me.
Right. That's how it went with the castle.
But it worked out.
Although you did decorate a bunch of that stuff.
Yeah, there's just too many rooms in that castle. We are making lamps, and we're trying to figure out which one would suit the best inside of the labyrinth. So, what do you guys think? Out of these three, we've got the bronze lamp, we've got the brass lamp, and we have the brass hanging lamp. Out of these three, what would be the best for, let's say, the first area of the labyrinth?
I think for the first area, I think we should my personal feelings, we should go with the bronze.
You want to go straight down? Oh, you want to go with the bronze?
Yeah. Well, I think that we've already established that the mines will have torches. Is that right? Am I right? Okay. And then the above ground, I think should have bronze. I think it suits it well. The brass kind of looks more majestic, or
we could split out. Like, I'm thinking we're going to split up, let's say, the top part of the labyrinth. Okay, the top part of the labyrinth's already split up into 3 sections, which is what I said last video. And there's a left side, there's a right side, and then there's this middle area of, like, hedges. That's like let's call it the gardens, or that part in the labyrinth where there's grass hedges.
Okay.
Where they find, what's his name? I can't remember his name now.
Ludo.
The Ludo friend. That guy.
Yeah.
So what would you want for that part? Like the hedge maze. What kind of lamp would go inside of that area?
I mean, we don't even have to go with any of these lamps. There's a couple other lamps that we can choose.
What do you guys think? Everybody remembers, if you guys remember the movie, The Labyrinth, what would fit the hedge maze the best to brighten it up?
Hedge maze. Yeah. It's hard to say.
Let's say, even if we not have these three, but there's also a few other ones. What are the other ones? There's the iron ones, the 2 iron ones, the torch one, and then the gold and the silver. Is it the silver that looks like... No, wait. It's the gold that looks like it's from, I don't know, supposed to be in a desert.
The gold one kind of looks like a deserty.
Oh, and there's the
Copper
copper
hanging.
one.
Wow, I never thought of a. So let's make a copper hanging. Let's see what that looks like. How much do I need
Do we
for
have
copper?
any silver? You can make a silver one. We can just lay out the lamps all right here.
Yeah.
Could visit the
I put in
website.
silver
What's
and
fun with
gold
that?
in. Put some silver and gold in. So let's copper only as a hanging lamp. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
I remember what it looks like. It's not bad.
I have no idea what it looks like. The look.
It's like a cylinder, isn't it?
Is it a cylinder?
I could be wrong.
Let's see here. Can't light these unless you plant them. You're right, it is like a cylinder with a cone on top of it. Copper hanging lamp. That looks like that looks pretty rustic. I almost like that one for the troll city or the goblin city. You know, goblins wouldn't make something so nice as the brass looking one. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Okay, so let's see if the gold and the silver is ready. Nope. These forges need an imp. Although that one over there is a little bit faster. Let's see if I can... Okay, it's ready.
We got some gold and we got some silver. We can figure this out. We've got lots of places in the labyrinth. We've got the mines. We've got the 3 different sections of the labyrinth. We've got a few towers, and this is just half of the labyrinth, which is what I said we finished in the last episode. We finished half of the labyrinth. The next half is going to be a lot more regal. It's going to have the Goblin City, which we might be calling Puzzle City, and the big castle, which I started designing a little bit. And it's going to be quite big.
Okay, there's the silver one. Let's try that again.
Nope.
Like a little
So it
lamp.
looks like a genie lamp or something.
A genie lamp. Let's get the gold one.
Let's put it over here. So for the first section, are we still going, I don't know, let's say the first area of the labyrinth, we're still saying bronze?
I think we should go with the bronze hanging.
Or do you think the hedge maze should have the bronze?
It's a hard one. My personal feeling is that the brass looks just too nice to be at the beginning. Like maybe
the brass we can put it in the, I don't know,
in the castle. Like I feel like the brass should be like the
area,
castle area.
The courtyard.
Courtyard, yeah, that sounds good. Maybe the silver. Wish we had these planted so we could light them up. So they look like lit.
I could do it. Okay, there's the gold.
Now, aside from the iron lamps, is this all the lamps that there is? That's it? Or are we missing one?
I think so. Then there's the 3 irons.
And then there's the 3 iron ones.
Torch lamp. What is that? One that's like all iron. Uses a ton of iron. I don't remember what they're called.
Yeah, there they all are. The gold lamp looks kind of weird. It's like a...
Yeah, so where is the labyrinth? Just, I guess somebody asked. Right. I am confused by this map. Right here. Puzzles. There's Vrock's Landing. So you can See, that's very near V-Rock. Or Vrock's Landing.
Yeah. See, I like the hanging lamps because you can push the pole into a wall and have it look like it's sort of mounted on the wall.
Yeah. That is true. A lot of options. I'm glad we were able to find out, or I'm glad we were able to look at most of them. We do have some torch lamps. Those will be good for the mines. But I don't know. There's the Imperial Street Lamp. That's what it's called. And then just the iron lamp. The Imperial Street Lamp is nice. Might use those for a few different areas. But the good thing is that we figured out how metallurgy works, and that the zinc is the tool and needs to have the COC on it for you to get skill gain.
Yeah.
It's not bad. So what do we want to do? Do we want to plant any of these? I know we had...
You know what I want to do is try to experiment with this zinc stuff. I don't know.
Okay, you experiment with the zinc stuff. I will look for... There's some more rose sprouts. I have a pile of wood beam. Oh, it's dark out. Is there... I know I have some lamps out here somewhere. Do you have any idea where they went?
Lamps?
The torch lamps, are they here?
I do not know.
Let's take a look. Not in that one. Not in this one. Are they in this one? No, they wouldn't be in there. What is in here? Salt. Do we need salt?
I feel like we bumped into one of the veins that we wanted to mine out was a salt vein as well. So we got like
so much salt.
So much salt. It was ridiculous. And there was a thread on the forums about what do we need salt for, or something like. It was about suggesting better ways to use salt, or at least making salt a little bit more useful when you use it to make meals. Because apparently it extends the life of a meal, but by maybe a day or two or something like that.
Didn't we find that it didn't actually do that?
It's hard to say because some meals will naturally last a day or two longer than others. So, yeah,
you never know. It doesn't do enough for people to care about it.
Yeah.
What is salt good for? It's to make bear rugs.
Bear rugs.
There you go.
Exactly.
That's what we use it for. They found a good use for it. All right, so I don't know where the lamps went. I don't know. Maybe Kaneka knows.
What level were the torch lamps?
I'm not sure. I didn't actually look at them. But we do have some hanging lamps, but we don't have anything to raise them with.
Oh wow. Using this COC zinc lump, I'm getting some really nice metallurgy gains.
And you should definitely be getting them. I got to 2.46.
And that's about as far as you're willing to go.
Pretty much. I'll let you be the metallurgy person.
I have gotten into the steel working and the plate smithing. I got my plate smithing up to 70. And I would like my metallurgy to be higher because making steel is tough, especially the high quality. Like if I want to make enough 70 quality steel to set to 70, it's ridiculous how horrible the result is when you're trying to make it with a metallurgy skill of 30 some odd. And metallurgy, like people don't have high metallurgy generally. There's very few people with high metallurgy out there.
Yeah, I can see that.
So Kaneka is saying inside the wagon near the pen. That's where those lamps are. The torches.
Okay. We have a wagon near the pen?
Wagon near the pen.
There's this one, but I don't think it's ours. No, it is. Right. And they're 50 quality. Perfect. Alright, so I'm going to take them.
Awesome.
And I guess I'm going to need some tar. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
We have tar.
You need tar. We might have some tar. Check that miscellaneous bin.
There's no tar inside here?
I bet you there's some in the miscellaneous bin by the pen.
Tar.
There's none in the... There's none in the...
If not, I'll have to get some tar. But we've been away...
I bet you you'll find it in the miscellaneous bin. I bet you there's a bunch of tar there. You know which one I'm talking about?
We would have gotten... Okay, so I got some tar. I'm just going to take a few. 10 is enough, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It takes like 0.1.
So I want to do a few things. It's summer. Things are a little lighter right now because the devs are gone on vacation. Oop, there's a troll. I'm gonna run away. And yeah, it's just the summer months of Worm. I just wanted to, as we're doing this, I know we're not doing the videos every single week right now. We try, but we're, you know, you seem to be busier than ever. I'm still going to school right now for the summer. But let's talk a little bit about the forums. We've been going, usually talk a little bit about the forums every week and the topics. Was there anything interesting in the last few weeks?
You know, it's been pretty, like, I don't know what to say. Like, it might be because there's not the updates happening every week because the devs are on vacation. I don't know what it is, but the forums have been pretty... I don't want to say negative, but there's a lot of stuff on the forums that I don't really like reading, but it's there, and a lot of people are replying to it. Like, there's one that's on the topic of how come so many are quitting right now, and there's 235 replies to that.
Wow,
that sort of stuff.
So out of those 235 replies, did anybody figure out why there's so many people quitting right now?
No, I mean,
what is the answer?
It's just a normal thing that happens.
Oh no,
that kind of thread happens every year for sure. There's at least one like that every year. So, and Worm hasn't gone anywhere, so it's not like there's this mass exodus out of Worm. It's just a normal thing that happens every year. Beginning of summer. Another one that I thought was a pretty good thread to read through because it was posted originally by somebody who's asking, what's the point of having skills that are above 60 skills? Like, why would you ever want a skill above that? Like, he's happy and content to play the game. He's sort of build a little deed, and he has a little farm. He doesn't really want that many more farm tiles. He doesn't want that many more animals. He's sort of gotten to that point where he's asking himself, what to next? Why would I ever want to skill up any skill past 60 or whatever?
That seems like two different questions right there, even though it's framed as one. So what's the first question? The first question is, why would you want to skill past 60? And does anybody... There's so many answers to that. What are your answers in the comments here, in the chat? Why would you guys skill past 60? And what would your response be, Adam?
Well, there's many benefits to skill past 60 depending on the skill. Like, for example, if you choose a crafting skill like blacksmithing or leatherworking or carpentry, then skilling past 60 obviously allows you to make tools that are of higher quality. People like their 90 quality tools. They go fast. They don't fail as often. They just do a better job at whatever you're doing. So that's one benefit. Obviously, faster is one of the key things. If your skill is above 90, you're going to go faster at anything related to that skill. Digging, mining, chopping trees. It'll just be faster. And time in this game is one thing that everybody wants more of. You want more time to build that deed, more time to just do whatever it is that you're doing. So yeah, higher quality tools, faster
Higher quality tools.
Getting through things faster, and also just people like having the best skills in the area, like in your local area, like in your neighborhood, especially if you're a social person and play with others. It's just nice to have the best of that skill in that area. People might come to you to ask you for help, and gives you that extra little bit of social aspect to the game, which is nice.
Okay, so then I think the real question is, why should this guy play past 60?
Right.
He's not asking why should I go past 60. He's saying why am I playing this game?
Why am I playing this game is really what he's saying, I think. And it comes to almost everybody at some point or another in this game. And this is the point where you see people quit all the time. They've come to the game, they've built up a little bit of skill, they made a little basic deed, they built their house, or maybe two houses, a little farm area, they've got some horses, they can ride a horse, they can, load a cart, they finally get all those major, major things that you need as a newbie. And then it's like there's nothing left for them to do. They're done. And they end up quitting at that point. And that usually happens around 3 months in, I'd say.
Okay. So is it the problem of the player, or is it the problem of the game?
It might be a little bit of both. It might be that the game just isn't right for the player.
Is it fair enough to just say that? Is it fair enough to say,
maybe, I mean,
you're just not the right kind of player for Wareham, please move on?
And that's what a lot of people said on that thread.
If you don't know that Wareham is good for you, then you're not the type of player I want to play with. Or I don't know. Is this right? Is it right to say that?
Here's the advice that I give to everybody who's sort of feeling that, and all new players that I meet after a little bit of time getting to know them, I'll give them this piece of advice: that in order to stay engaged with this game, you have to have a long-term goal set. You have to have some goal that says, I need to complete this goal in order to keep going. And once you're getting close to finishing that goal, you have to have another goal lined up. Because once the goal is complete, in this game, it sort of feels like you're done and that there's nothing left to do, and you start questioning what's the point of going on. And these goals can be anything. Like, it could be as simple as getting my skill to 70 in something so that I can get that title. Or it could be completing your deed to a certain specification that you want it to look like. Like, it must, I want to create a castle, and I want to create little stables and whatever. You have like a set goal. Or it could be you want to create a highway from one place to another. Or it could be you want to make a big boat mine. Or it could be that you want to start making money in the economy. Have one of your, put a merchant down in one of the local markets and fill it with tools.
Can people do that? The argument that a lot of people make is, how am I ever going to compete with the veterans in this game?
Well, there is really only one way to compete with the veterans, that is get your skills up to where the veterans are. And it
then,
really doesn't take, it really doesn't take all
mean,
that long if you set your mind to it. You set your goal. I want to get my skill to this, to 90. 90 is a good set place to go if you want to start selling your stuff. It really doesn't take all that long once you have decided that's what you want to do.
But like, where are those players that like have joined recently or have decided I've got a skill at level 1, I'm gonna raise it up to 90, and then they just do that? Is that even possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'd estimate that the average time to get a regular skill from 1 to 90, if you're working at it, like if you're, this is my goal and this is what I want to get, and I'm going to just do this until I get to 90, you could probably do it within a month.
Within a
for
month.
A regular skill. Yeah, less than a month. And if you want to do it leisurely, like you're doing a bunch of other stuff and this, you could sort of spread it out over a few months. Or even longer than that. That's fine. It took me longer than a few months to get 90 blacksmithing. But when I got there, I wouldn't have considered myself veteran by any means. But at that time, I thought like 90, I think it took me 6 months to get to 90. And that's because I wasn't only doing that. And I felt like, okay, 90, I can now actually make 90 tools and put them on a merchant, and people would actually buy them. Leading up to there, I was making 70 tools and putting them on a merchant, and people were buying them still because I would set them at ridiculously low prices, and I've seen people do that. So there are people. I recently visited Glass Hollow Market, and there was a full merchant filled with 70 tools being sold for, I think it was 15 copper each or something like that, which is like a perfect price. Somebody might come by, just grab a bunch to cast on, let's say, or to, I don't know, just use, I guess.
Well,
it's a good strategy. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's always misinterpreted in this game, that you can never catch up to veterans, and that's not true at all.
Not true at all. And you know why it's not true? Veterans,
why?
Once they get to 95 or something, it doesn't go up that fast from there. Like, and you're not grinding anymore. Like, you just sort of stay there. That's the reality of it. So, and it doesn't take all that long to get up there. So you can catch up.
Yeah. So I mean, you can catch up, and then I guess this guy's thing is, why should I?
Why should you? Well,
and that's a whole other thing. Why am I playing this game?
Really? Yeah. I mean,
I don't know. Why is everyone playing this game? In the chat.
Why are you guys?
Why are you playing this game? Why are you playing this game, Adam?
I mean, it's a good question. Why are we playing?
Give
any
me a
game,
response
for that matter.
In like one word.
It's freedom. It's the freedom to do whatever you want.
Okay,
that's what it is.
But that's a cop-out answer.
Why is that a cop-out answer?
What about the freedom do you like best about this game?
Well, you said one word. How am I supposed to say what about the freedom in one word?
Okay. Out of all the features in this game, why
think about it this way. If I was playing WoW and I got on and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do today? Well, I got like 3 options. I could jump into a raid, I could jump into PvP, and I could just go questing or something. Like,
okay, how about
really
this question?
not.
If they took this away from the game, I would not play this game anymore. What is it?
Freedom.
You can't just okay. That would be quite a task to get rid of freedom in this game.
Yeah.
There would be no game anymore. If they took away the ability to chop down trees in this game, would you stop playing?
No, probably not.
No.
If they took away terraforming?
If they took away terraforming, would you stop playing?
Yeah, that would be a big thing. I mean, I've looked at other games and thought that would be a cool game to play, but it doesn't have terraforming, so no thanks.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I think if they took away the in-game economy, would you stop playing?
Yeah. If the economy was no longer player driven,
Mm-hmm.
that would be a problem.
If all you could do was buy silvers from the store and use it for plant deeds and buy stuff from traders and stuff, would you stop playing?
That's a good question. I would most definitely stop playing, I think. If all of a sudden the only means of maintaining anything was to pay real life money to the shop, I'd probably stop playing. Yeah.
Because that seems to be a lot of the arguments on the forums this past few weeks. We've talked about it a bunch. But that's where people want to go. People want you to have to buy the silvers from the in-game shop in order to play this game.
Right. But personally, I think that would be one of the things that would cause me, like, seriously,
would
like if they got
stop
rid of
playing.
terraforming, seriously, I probably wouldn't. But if they did get rid of that, then probably would stop playing. And then it's probably just, I don't know. It's not because like I would be like, damn you. It would just be, I'd sort of shrug my shoulders and say, well, guess I'm not playing anymore, sort of thing.
There it is. I like it because it's relaxing without the pressure of challenges, quests, etc. I think that's what you liked about the game too. The fact that you can sit down and play without needing to be connected to the screen. You can go AFK anytime, basically.
Right. Also, I really love the problem solving in this game. You know, like you're sort of stumped at sometimes when you're like, I want it to go like this, but you know, and you have to work through it and figure it out. And when you learn how to get through that problem, and you start seeing that problem happen again and again, like you're like, I can solve this. You know, I was helping.
Today we just solved about the metallurgy.
The other day I was helping Valiant build a diagonal road. He had built the diagonal road, and he was like saying to me, like, he's like, man, it just doesn't look right. Like there's something wrong with it. And I took one look at the road and I'm like, man, your road is like slanted. It's like the whole thing is just slanted. And so like I helped him fix it. But I was thinking to myself, like, it wasn't very long ago that I would look at that road and say, I have no idea how to fix it. You know, when we did that road episode recently.
Yeah, we
first came back. That's when I started learning about diagonal roads and how to like make them the proper way. And you know, I don't think if we didn't do that episode, I probably wouldn't have been able to help him very well.
Yeah, that definitely taught us something about building roads, and we haven't really built that many roads since then. So glad we did that episode.
You haven't.
Okay, you have. I haven't at all.
I built that road that went all the way
Labyrinth.
out. Yeah, that's true. Like once I learned how to build the road, I'm like, hey, I could just keep building this road. I just kept building and building. I actually kind of want to get back to building roads because the road from here at the labyrinth to our deed is still not great. There's a whole area that needs something to be fixed.
Yeah. And when Bridges came into the game, and I still am thinking about the way I'm going to design the castle based on the fact that Bridges are in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for me to do that, I need to figure out all the ins and outs of Bridges. Like, I know that, or I'm guessing, bridges can't be built on top of each other, right?
Right.
So they have to be built on one tile. Like, can they be built next to each other? Can two bridges be side by side? I assume
No.
the answer is also no.
Yeah, no.
There has to be a space in between.
I'm sure of it.
But can bridges be built next to a house? parallel to a wall?
I think so. I've seen a couple.
Okay.
Yep, I'm pretty sure.
And can be bridges
I've seen them.
built...
I've seen them go right up the side of a house. You know what I mean?
Okay. And we already found out badly that bridges cannot be built over mine doors.
Yes.
So there's a lot of
Not sure.
restrictions with bridges
Or
when
next
it
to mine
comes to
doors.
my
They couldn't,
plans.
right? Like they couldn't go adjacent to mine door, could they either?
I thought they could.
You think they could?
I can't remember now.
What was it? There was something that was blocking us from making a bridge where we wanted it to be, and it wasn't because it was going over mine.
The bridge being next to... Oh yeah, maybe you're right. An entire
It's like
bridge can't be
next-
next to a mine door.
Right, like it can't be next to it either. Or was it a mine
Wow.
entrance? Yeah, mine. It can't be.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to sort of look into that in one of these episodes so that I can start building the castle. Because at some point, this is gonna be done. We're gonna have the labyrinth completed. But, okay, so, yeah, this guy on the forums basically asking, why should I play? And then you've got
There was.
a topic right, like, around that same area.
Sorry, before we go on to that topic, there was one thing that was written in that forum that really I thought was great. Like it was just, it was worded so well and it explains so much. And it goes, if you wanted a game like Worm 20 years and discovered it 6 years too late, then it's a dream come true. You know, it's like if you envisioned, like, I want a game that does this, and you like can't find that game, and then finally stumble upon Worm many, many years later, you know, it's like a dream come true. And there's quite a few people who are joining Worm, and I see their comments. They just finally found this game, and they can't understand why they never found it before, and they love the game, and they jump right in. They're Wormians for life after that.
It was weird. Like,
You know?
when we started, it was these little things that kept drawing me to it. And little things that mean nothing to all these other players. So when we were trying to get our friends to play, and I was like, there's no names above your head. Can you believe that there's no names above your head? This is why you should be playing. Like, what? Why do I was so fascinated
When I
by
drop
that. Like,
something on the
why?
floor, I can actually see it there.
Yeah. And it was so amazing that they could do this, or that it was in a game. I can drop anything that I want, anywhere that I want, and there's a graphic for it. It's not just a tiny little bag like an EverQuest was. And I can, like, there's
Well, some
no,
things are bags, but
yeah, there's no names above people's heads, and above any NPC's heads. Nothing. It's just you're completely immersed in the wilderness, and that just the fact that they removed text in the in-game environment allowed us to all of a sudden be like, this is the most immersive game. Like, you're so immersed, and we kept throwing that word around because we would be going through a forest and we'd be getting scared, getting attacked by mountain lions.
That game we're at. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and you
we
can't see the text above their heads, right? To warn
Yeah.
you that they're coming.
Just that simple thing, when we first started, drew me in completely. Before any of the digging and all that stuff was cool.
For
So
me, one of
it
the
wa-
first thing that I noticed in this game, like the very first thing that did that to me, was when you walk up slopes, you go slower.
Yes,
There's
I remember
no
that
other
exact
game.
moment too. It was in the
I'm
tutorial.
like in the tutorial, and I'm walking. The first thing I do is go up a hill. I'm like, whoa, I'm going slower than up the hill, and when I go down the hill, I go faster. That just like
I was
blew me
probably
away.
in some sort of, I don't know, Google Hangout or something with you. Probably
Yeah,
a Skype
probably.
call.
Probably.
And And I remember hearing that from you, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's true.
Like, is there a single other game out there that's like that? I don't know. If there is, I never played it.
There
I
are, but
couldn't
not
believe
to
it.
this extent.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I was in awe.
That's funny. I don't know. I think that we ended up playing this game completely different from each other, and that is what works. How do you describe that to somebody? I play this game for this reason, and he plays this game for that reason. So what do you say? You should play this game because there are different ways you can play this game? That doesn't sound good. And there might be something for you. And then for the people that don't play this game, I think this is the most fascinating topic right here. For the people that get to the point where they build their deed or they build their house and they go through the first newbie stages and then they think, oh, what do I do now? And then they just leave the game because they don't know what to do.
If you got to
that
like, sorry, go ahead.
is it the fact that they are just not suited for this game? Or is it the fact that we or the game should be changing for them? Is it the game's fault or is it their fault?
I don't think
most interesting question.
I personally don't think the game should change for that, because the moment it changes to tailor to that, then it changes away from what I want the game to be.
And what do you want the game to be that couldn't be for them? If we subscribe to the fact that this game can be multiple things for multiple people, different things for different people, then why can't it also be something for them? Why does giving them what they want exclude you from getting what you want?
Because what they want is not just another trade skill tacked on or another
maybe what they want isn't faster skill gain. Maybe what they want isn't like more instant gratification. We like to throw these things around. Oh, if you don't like what I'm doing in this game, therefore you must like instant gratification in your games. Therefore you should move on. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe it's just they don't know what to do. They need something that's added to this game that makes it so that they can continue with this game. So here's a big story. The players that play the game first, they fail. They don't know what to do. And they come back, maybe they get into socialize. One thing that I love about this game, and I think is the best for games that you play that you are entranced by or mesmerized by for a long time, is usually because of the community that you're in, the people that you I don't know, hang out with and interact with in the game. So you have these players that quit, and then the next time they play, they get into a social, alliance or something like that, and the game, we call it, finally sticks, whatever that means. It clicks with them, and they're like, oh yeah, this is the game that I do want to play. The first time they played, it wasn't the game they wanted to play, but now with the people, is it the people that I'd say a lot of it has to do with the people that they're playing with. So how can this game utilize that as in more of the game mechanics that makes it so more people stay in the game the first time they play, as opposed to needing to come back and finding out about it later, if they do come back? There's some questions.
Like more social aspects, more reason
more social aspects. Okay, good. So now that we're talking about more social, how do you make a game like this more social? And one thing that I've talked about, I think probably very long time ago in our episodes, this is pretty scary, isn't it? This room, is that we have a lot of things in this game can be done with multiple people. You can do things in a group. You create a Colossus, and anyone can help build the Colossus. Well, that's what we like about this game. But in essence, the interaction that you do is solo or individual. You pick up the brick, you take the brick, and you insert it into the Colossus, and everybody else is doing that same thing. Everyone's doing, you could almost say that everyone's playing solo together for a result that's for a community or for a group, which is fine. But how do we make it so things are more social? Do we need to make it so it's...
See, that's a question for the devs to come up with, like...
That is the question, isn't it?
They have to come up with a way to make the game more social.
Do we need like an apprenticeship system? Do we need something that forces people to play with each other, or to have the veterans want to not to like help out the new players? Would that be beneficial? Do we need more goals to accomplish? Do people not like goals? Do people not like to unlock things? I would say that people still like to unlock things in this game. Do we need more unlockables in this game?
I think that every time they add new unlockables, it's a positive reception. Like, for example, like the large crates and the furniture and stuff like that. When they added that stuff, and it's like, okay, well, I need to get to 70 carpentry before I can make that. It actually pushes you to get to 70 carpentry, like it gives you that thing to do.
Right. Do we need more of that, or do we need more systems within that? I've talked about two systems I still wish that they would add. I'm not sure how I'm going to relate this to social aspect. One of them was specifically related to the social aspect, and that is villages.
Having
the village
levels?
System needs to not just have levels, but needs to have more depth. Throw the word unlockables in there. Stuff that you unlock for your village. Mm-hmm. Stuff that you unlock for your alliance. Stuff that you unlock. And who knows what it could be. Just things. Could be items. Could be extensions of items.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need to have more player collaboration? So instead of having the Colossus being built, how about items that take more than 100 skill to make?
So combination of skills.
So you could have two players, blacksmiths, get together, and they would have to sort of link together somehow in order to create an item, the ultimate sword or the ultimate whatever, pickaxe. Yeah, not everyone wants to be more social, and that's another aspect. People don't want to be forced to play together, but I'd say that just because not everyone wants to play social doesn't mean they should not add social things to the game. Because, again, not everyone wants to be social, which means some people do want to be social. Shouldn't they add for both? If all they've been doing is adding things that can be done solo, where are the things that can be done, that can be played socially?
Right. They add tons of stuff that are for the hermit type player all the time. Decoration stuff, if they add any of that, that's for the hermit type player.
Anything, the way that they add it, to have two or more players together. How about an item that takes one person that has blacksmithing and the other person has masonry. You'd have to have 75 blacksmithing and 75 masonry or something. They would have to work together to create an item. You could have a whole line of items that require more players. I don't know how this is related back to those players quitting. It would in turn add to the depth of this game. I'd say for the players that are quitting, especially for the players that get bored, you would need to have some way to get them interested in joining up with people. That's the story that everyone has. Isn't it? I started playing, I stayed around longer because I was friends with some people. These nice people helped me out, and therefore I was happy. For the players that don't get that, they don't stay. I was one of those players. And I've heard of lots of stories of other players the exact same way. The first time I played, it didn't stick. So it's not always that if a player is quitting, the game's not for them. Because if that was true, I would be one of the players that this game is not for.
Yeah.
So just some things to think about. Is it the game that's the problem? Or is it the person that's the problem? I should say that the other way around. Is it the person that's the problem? Or is it the game that's the problem? Maybe it's a little bit of both. Which means, and if we even say that it's a little bit of both, it does mean that the game has places that it can go to improve.
You know what it also means? Is that we agree. That's exactly what I said at the beginning. It's a little bit of both.
And that doesn't happen that often.
No, it doesn't.
So I think with that, we'll wrap up. What have we done this episode? We have played with Metallurgy for the first time on the show. Mm-hmm. We found out that, and in particular, if you're making brass and you've got copper and zinc is what you put COC on. Don't put it on the copper. It won't do anything.
That'll go with, that would also go with tin. You'd put COC on the tin. And I don't think we mentioned, but you would also put the COC on the charcoal when combining it with iron.
No, there
charcoal
you go.
Happens to be the... Yeah.
So charcoal for creating steel.
Yeah, you put the COC on the charcoal.
Tin for when you're creating bronze. And zinc for when you're creating brass. That's what you put the COC on. Or the WOA. God knows why you want to do that. I don't know. Considering you can just clump them together and create one big one. Anyway.
That's true. Yeah.
Then we looked at some lamps. There are a lot of different kinds. We didn't look at a couple of them. And I think in the castle we'll probably look at some other of those things like candelabras and things. We didn't even touch those. And then I planted some in the in the caves, and the caves actually look a lot nicer.
They do.
Some kind of music system in this game. I'd love to see a music system in this game. What do you think? I think that would go perfect in this game. And always sitting. Everyone loves sitting. Let's put a vote. I think that should be the next big vote. Or a petition.
What? Sitting. They are not even working on it.
Just a petition.
We know sitting.
I want to sit in the chairs.
Look, they put a whole sitting animation, and it's already in the game. They just need to apply it to certain things. It shouldn't take too long.
You're right.
You just need to come back from vacation. That's all.
We're just waiting. They just need to come back from vacation so they can fix my mine problem of going through a tall stone wall when you're exiting a mine.
Right.
That would help. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. And I don't know if we're going to be back next week. Are we going to be back next week?
We'll have to discuss it throughout the week.
We'll figure out. Adam always announces it anyway. Just check back on Wednesday. If we haven't been on by 9, probably not going to be on. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us. Have a good summer. See you guys hopefully next week. Take care, everyone.